15, 10, or 5 years, or some other time frame, payback period for solar panel system investment. These are time frames quoted by so-called solar panel professionals. But are any of these time frames backed by real data or some sort of analysis? What is your payback period for your solar system investment? I will be doing solar system feasibility analysis for 5 cities in 5 completely different regions. I will be looking at Seattle, Washington, Ventura, California, Augusta, Maine, Miami, Florida, and Kansas City. The results of my analysis will provide energy consumption, energy generation, annual bill savings, total investment cost, and the main goal of this analysis, payback period for each of these cities. I will be using open solar software to perform the technical and feasibility analysis. Using open solar software, I'm able to calculate the solar system output in kilowatt hours and costs associated with each project. On the screen, you see the user interface used to create each project. The software allows you to select various equipment and devices, such as solar panels, the inverter, the battery, and any other devices. Among the outputs, as you can see on the screen, it calculates the total price for you, payment option, system size, annual output, energy consumption, and self-consumption. How is the output calculated? The annual output, energy consumption, consumption offset, and some of the other technical outputs that you saw on the previous screen are the result of the design that the designer makes and the information that Open Solar takes into account. Those inputs or that information is seen on the screen. Essentially, they're variables that Open Solar takes into account. Open Solar uses 2 possible models to take this information into account. The PV watts, which is the legacy system, or the newer generation system, SAM. There's at least 10 variables that Open Solar takes into account when producing the technical outputs. The framework and constants used for the feasibility analysis. All 5 projects will have the same solar panel infrastructure. That is, the brands and the models of the solar panels, the inverter, and the battery, and also the solar panel orientation. The difference in the 5 projects will be based on 2 major factors. The local electric utility rates, these differ state by state, and also the sunlight intensity and the weather in each of the 5 regions. What are my assumptions? All 5 projects will have the same solar panel infrastructure cost, including the installation costs. I'm using the United States average solar panel installation costs. That way, I'm keeping all the costs the same throughout the 5 regions. Keep in mind, these averages include installation costs. Out of the total cost, the labor costs will differ the most across 5 regions. However, again, I'm keeping the same average cost throughout the 5 regions. The industry average price per watt is 2.5 to 3.5 kilowatt hours. I'm using a number that is on the upper range. The battery price per kilowatt hour is $150. I will talk about the actual solar panel system in later slides. However, the total cost for the entire solar panel system is $21,678. This cost is the same for all 5 projects. The aim is to compare 5 different regions for the feasibility of an investment, including the payback period. The other assumptions in the solar panel feasibility analysis is that all 5 projects in different regions have the same energy usage, that is, annual usage of 9,000 kilowatt hours, and the same energy usage profile, which can be seen on the right. This energy usage profile is called a double peak. It peaks early in the morning when everyone's at home and getting ready to go to work or to school, and a second peak occurring later in the evening when everyone's at home. The annual usage also differs month by month depending on the seasonality. This is the solar panel system used for 5 projects in 5 different regions. I'm using Sun Gold Power solar panels. I'm using 12 of them, rated at 500 watts each, giving me a total of 6,000 kilowatt total module power. This total solar module is capable of producing 7,835 kilowatt hours per year. I'm also using a Sun Gold Power battery rated at 5.12 kilowatt hours. The operating voltage is 48 volts. I'm using a hybrid inverter this time by Fronius. This inverter is rated at 5 kilowatt. The choice of solar panels stems from 3 reasons. My personal experience with the solar panels, it has been nothing but good, the high industry and customer satisfaction, and the size and rating of the solar panels. I'm not looking to design a system that offsets the entire daily energy usage. The aim of my design is only for partial daily energy usage offset. The choice of the battery stems from similar reasons as for the solar panels. My personal experience with it, the high customer and industry satisfaction and ratings, and the battery has sufficient energy capacity to provide energy during non-peak sunlight hours, when solar panels are not able to produce the energy. Lastly, my choice for the inverter is that it's rated high enough to provide power demands for most households and families. This inverter is also a hybrid inverter, meaning that we can configure and connect the battery to the power grid and enable it to be charged from the power grid and from solar panels. How are the project feasibility and payback period calculated? Payback period is a financial term used to find the amount of time for your initial investment to be paid off. Our first task is to find the total monthly savings from going solar. We do that by taking the energy used after solar installation and deducting it or subtracting it from energy used before solar installation. This will be the savings from going solar on a monthly basis. Then we sum up the total monthly savings from going solar. We're summing it up over 20 years. The reason why I'm choosing 20 years, because that's the system lifetime. It's the average industry solar panel warranty, and it's estimated to be around 20 years. Some manufacturers of solar panels have shorter and some even longer warranty periods. The second task is to actually calculate the payback period. The formula used is seen on the screen. We take the initial investment and we sum it up by dividing by sum of annual savings from going solar. Lastly, we calculate the return over system lifetime. We take the total energy savings over the system lifetime, which is 20 years, and we divide it by the initial cost of total solar panel system. Let's take a look at our first project, located in the northwest of the United States, Seattle, Washington. Just a reminder, all 5 projects in the United States will be sized in total. First, let's take a look at a summary of electricity bill savings. Looking at the bottom left graph, which shows the first year monthly bill savings, we see that the old bill is $125. The new bill is approximately $30. If we take the difference of these two and sum it up over the system lifetime, which is 20 years, we would obtain the lifetime bill savings, which the graph to the right showcases. The lifetime bill savings is $26,463. If we take this lifetime savings and deduct the total price from it, which is $21,768, we would obtain the estimated net savings over the system lifetime, which is $4,695. Let's take a look at the financial highlights for this solar project. This project has a payback period of 17 years. It has a return over the system lifetime of 22%, which is $4,695 divided by the total system price. And finally, the annualized return is 1.8%. Also see a summary of the financial impact that we saw in the previous slide. and that is the difference between the cumulative utility bill savings throughout the system lifetime and net system cost. And the difference is the estimated net savings, which is $4,695. Let's take a look at our next project, located in the Southwest, Ventura, California. This project has a payback period of 7 years and 8 months. Looking at the summary of electricity bill savings, bottom left graph, the first year monthly bill savings, we see that the old bill was approximately $300, the new bill approximately $75. If we sum up the difference over the system lifetime, we would obtain the cumulative bill savings. That is what the next graph showcases. So if we sum up the difference throughout the system lifetime, which is 20 years, we obtain our lifetime bill savings, which is $61,081. The difference between this and our total system price is the estimated net savings, which is $39,313. This project has a return over system lifetime of 181%. The annualized return is 12%. Looking at the generation and consumption graph, we see that the solar system meets the energy requirements for 9 months out of the year. We also see that we have excess of energy generation for 5 months, mostly in the summer, starting from April. Out of the total energy required, we obtain 112% of it from solar. That gives us an indication that the solar system is oversized. Out of the total energy generated, we consume 52% of it. So 48% of generated energy is not used for personal use. And if there is no state metering program, then half of the energy is not utilized. It's just exported to the grid without any credits. Looking at our next project, located in the Northeast, Augusta, Maine. This project does not pay back within the system lifetime. The reason for that is that the total system price, the total investment, is higher than the cumulative savings over the system lifetime. So the total system price is higher than the cumulative bill savings. And if we take the difference of these two, we would obtain a negative $4,382, which is a premium that we would pay for the solar project. Two possible reasons for this is that there is no state net metering program. That is, there's no credits for energy exported to the grid. The second reason is that the dollar per energy generated is higher than the dollar per energy from the grid. Therefore, the old bill is less than the new bill. To summarize, this solar system project has a negative return and does not pay back within the system lifetime. Looking at the generation and consumption graph, we see that the energy generated meets the required consumption throughout most months of the year, with shortage occurring in winter months. Similar to our first project in Seattle, Washington, the underlying issue is not the size of our solar system, it's the inability to generate energy in winter months. Looking at the top left statistic, out of the total energy required, we obtain 74% of it from solar. The rest, 16%, we obtain from the grid. Out of the total energy generated, we consume 65% of it. The rest gets exported to the grid. So 35% of energy generated is not used for personal use. And if there is no state metering program, then 1/3 of the energy is not utilized. Looking at the financial summary at the bottom, the cumulative utility bill savings is $17,386, and the solar system investment, or the net system cost, surpasses this cumulative bill savings. And the difference is a premium that we would pay, which is $4,382. So this project has a negative return and would provide a loss to the solar system investment. Let's take a look at our next project, located in the Southeast, Miami, Florida. This solar system project has a payback period of 17 years and 3 months. Let's look at a summary of electricity bill savings. Bottom left graph, the first year monthly bill savings. The old bill, which was approximately $115, and the new bill, which is approximately $25. If we take the difference and sum it up over the system lifetime, we would obtain the lifetime cumulative bill savings, which is showcased in the next graph, bottom right. We see that over the 20 years, the lifetime bill savings is $26,117. If we take the difference between the total system price and the cumulative bill savings, we would obtain the estimated net savings, which is $4,349. Again, that's over the 20-year mark. The return over the system lifetime is 20%, and the annualized return is 1.7%. Looking at the generation and consumption graph, we see that there's shortage of energy generation occurring in most months. Only excess of energy generation occurring in 3 months. This gives us an indication that perhaps our solar system is undersized. Looking at the top left statistic, we see that out of the total energy required, we obtain 90% of it from solar. The rest, that is 10%, we obtain from the grid. Out of the total energy generated, we use 64% of it, the rest gets exported to the grid. So 36% of generated energy is not used for personal use. If there is no state metering program, then 1/3 of the energy generated is not utilized. Looking at the financial summary, we see that the difference between the cumulative bill savings and net system cost is $4,349, which is the estimated net savings. Looking at our last project, located in central United States, Kansas City. This solar project has a payback period of 18 years and 8 months. The difference between the cumulative savings and the solar system cost is $1,955. The return over the system lifetime is 9%, and the annualized return is 0.8%. Looking at the generation and consumption graph, like the previous graph, we see that there's a shortage of energy generation. There's only a few months where the energy generation surpasses consumption. Looking at the graph, we also see that the sizing of the solar system is approximately correct. Out of the total energy required, 87% of it is obtained from the solar. The rest, that is 13 of the energy required, is obtained from the grid. Out of the total energy generated, 61% is used for self-consumption, and the rest is exported to the grid. 39% of energy is not used for personal use. If there is no state metering program, then 2/5 of the energy generated is not utilized. Looking at the bottom left graph, the first monthly bill savings, we see that the old bill was approximately $135, the new bill approximately $25. The difference of these two summed up over the lifetime gives us the lifetime bill savings, which is showcased in the bottom right graph. So the lifetime bill savings is $23,723. The summary of 5 projects. The first project that we looked at was Seattle, Washington. It has a payback of 17 years. Next project was Ventura, California. It had a payback period of 7 years. Next one, Augusta, Maine, did not pay back within the 20-year system lifetime. Miami, Florida had a payback period of 7 years. And finally, the last project we looked at was Kansas City, and it had a payback period of 18 years. Which of these is a financially viable investment? Well, that depends on the criteria for evaluation. I know that most state utility companies do not recommend investing in a solar project if it has a payback period that is larger than 10 years. Therefore, Ventura, California, which has a 7 payback period, and Miami, Florida, which also has a 7-year payback period, are the only 2 projects worthwhile investing. What is the typical payback period for a residential user? Based on a 5-project analysis, the typical payback period for a single-family residence house is between 7 years, which happens to be in a high solar irradiance location, and 18 years, which happens to be in a moderate solar irradiance location. Now, the average 2024 US rating solar panel system was between 6 and 8 kilowatt. I chose to size all 5 projects not because of the statistic, but because 6 kilowatt should provide most residential homes the energy requirement to meet on a daily basis. The average inverter size that meets the power demands of most residential users is between 3 and 5 kilowatt. The size of our inverter was at 5 kilowatt. Perhaps the inverter that I chose is oversized. The battery sizing for all 5 projects was at 5.12 kilowatt hours. Now the average 2024 US home battery capacity is between 10 and 15 kilowatt hours. Based on this statistic, the sizing of the battery is most likely undersized. However, the drawback of increasing the battery capacity is that it significantly increases the total system price, which may not make the solar system project a worthwhile investment. Should you invest and install a solar panel system even if the payback period is longer than 10 years? Well, the answer lies in the single line diagram. Let's take a look at the left portion of the single line diagram. We see 2 solar arrays, each connected in series, and then connected to the hybrid inverter, connected through a DC isolator. The inverter is then connected to the grid supply through AC isolator. We also see that the battery is connected to the same bus bar. It is important to note that the battery is connected not directly to the solar array. Usually this is done through a charge controller or through an inverter. It is connected to the AC side. Now, this connection is only possible because the hybrid inverter is able to convert the AC energy to DC through rectification process. This AC battery connection allows the battery to be charged from both the solar panels and the utility grid. This is important. Why is this important? Because we can charge the battery even if we don't have adequate energy coming from our solar panels. Therefore, we are able to maintain a fully charged battery at all times. Now, this is especially beneficial if someone needs or absolutely requires a backup energy storage system. Say if you live in an area that experiences a lot of blackouts, having a solar system with an AC connected battery is very valuable, even though the payback period is longer than 10 years. The 10-year mark payback period criteria should not be the only criteria for choosing to invest and install a solar system. What are the important points when considering investing and installing a solar panel system? Do you live in a location with high solar irradiance? That is there a high ability to capture solar energy throughout the entire year? Do you live in a house with little to no sun obstruction? Do you use significant amount of energy, especially during the sun hours? Are your state utility rates high? Do you live in a state that has a net metering program that gives you credits for energy exported to the grid? Do you have substantial state contributions, tax breaks, or credits for installing a solar panel system? And do you require rechargeable backup storage system? These are some of the important points you should be looking at in evaluating when considering installing and investing a solar panel system. Thank you for watching my presentation of solar project analysis, and I'll see you in the next video.